So today we are covering two shlokas from chapter number 12. Let's see the shloka and the translation. Yasmat na udvichate loka, lokat na udvichate chaya, harsha amarsha bhava udvekve, muktyascha cha me priya. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. He by whom no one is put into difficulty and who is not disturbed by anyone, who is equipoised in happiness and distress, fear and anxiety, is very dear to. So, these two shloka, if we see, few of the devotees' qualifications are being described here. So, what are those qualifications of a devotees? And Lord is saying here that such devotee with those qualifications, they are very dear to me. So we'll see what are those activities that devotee shows or showcase, and some example who actually are such great personality who actually showcase them. So what are those qualification of devotees? So no one is put into difficulty, anxiety, fearfulness, or dissatisfaction by such a devotee. So what this devotee do? He never put anybody into difficulty. He is not the cause for anybody's anxiety or fearfulness or dissatisfaction. So a devotee always make sure that he don't put anybody into such conditions, nor into difficulties, nor into anxieties, or he should not be a reason for somebody's fear or somebody's dissatisfaction. So a devotee is very kind. He is kind to everyone. And he always see that he don't put anybody into any kind of anxiety. And at the same time, if any other person, he try to put such kind of anxiety to this devotee, he is not disturbed. And by the grace of Lord, he is so practical. He is so practical that he is not disturbed by any outward disturbances. So there may be multiple kind of disturbances which will be coming from outside, may it be by, some kind of calamity or some kind of other person. So in material world, we see that every time there are some or other troubles or problems keep on coming to him. But he is not disturbed by all those things. So because he is always engrossed, he is completely engrossed in Krishna consciousness, that such material circumstances that will never move him. So on the other side, if you see for a non-devotees, so generally what will happen? Generally a materialistic person, he becomes very happy when there is something for his sense gratification and for his body. He will be overjoyed, right? And this non-devotee, what he will do? So, but when he see somebody else, some other person is having some sense gratification and he is not able to do that, he feels also very sorry and he feels very envious, very jealous, right? how he can be better than me. And then what happens? Again, this non-devotee, when he is expecting some kind of retaliation from an enemy, he is in a state of fear. Means he feels somebody is his enemy, and he started seeing him that he is a danger for me. And when he is not successful in executing something, he becomes very dejected. So let's say very often we see so many office politics, right? Or there are many kleshas, right? Many kind of politics going on, not only in office, in different circles. And person try to identify that he is my enemy and I have to take a revenge from him. So he make different plans to defeat that person. So if you see, like everybody want to become a boss, in a very simple term, we can say that nobody want to become a das, right? So everybody want to become a boss. So when his plans or his ideas are not successful, he become very dejected, very demoralized. So what happens now? A devotee who is always transcendental to all these disturbances, Lord is saying he is very dear to me. So one thing is very clear, right? How a devotee should perform. He should be always balanced himself. He should be always transcendental to all these disturbances. So you know that people, they are obsessed with enjoying senses, right? We always see people who have actually read Bhagavad-gītā and Puran. They can actually identify. They outside when they go to circles, they see that people are very obsessed of enjoying senses. They don't care what the other people, whether he is getting pain or he is getting hurt. Right? So when a person, let's say, uh, if I see myself, if I am very hungry, right, and I am not getting food, and with lot of effort also I am not getting food, I am hungry. So what happens? I feel it is so difficult, right? Life is so difficult. So that time, the person will realize, at some point of time, he realized that if the other person is hungry, he feels so difficulty. So I should not keep him hungry, right? So when we take the other cases like someone hurt us, right? He give some pain to us. So how do we feel actually? Similarly, when we comment on somebody and he get hurt, so we realize that how it actually feels. So we take some more example, like all the Matajis, they prepare food or prasadas at home, right? And after so much effort preparing that food or prasadam, so Prabhuji come at home, he consume that prasad and criticize. He criticized that it is not up to the mark or something. So what happens in that case? Mataji feels very bad. And sometimes with anger, she may say that why don't you prepare yourself? It feels so bad, right? I am putting so much effort preparing food for somebody, and instead of, you know, appreciating the effort, he criticize. And similarly, like some Prabhuji, let's say he's earning and he's the breadwinner, and but he earns very less. And after so much of effort and so much of struggle, he comes back home, and let's say Mataji says ki you earned only this much. So the Prabhuji will get hurt. And sometime in anger, he may say, he try to manage with this. So all these kind of reactions are very common. These kind of reactions are very common. And one has to be very calm. Based on this situation, they has to be very cool and calm. So this compassion and mercy will come when we do the bhakti. And when we see the example of Srila Prabhupada, who was one of the very pure devotee. So Srila Prabhupada, when he was in New York, in the Tompkins Square Park, which was the initial phase of this Krishna conscious movement, and he was with few disciples. He was doing the kirtan and chanting, and suddenly a person who was drunk, he started shouting, and he was causing a lot of disturbances during that kirtan. So what Prabhupada did, so instead of becoming very angry and or becoming very fearful, so Prabhupada, he was gently smiling. He keep chanting. And he was encouraging his disciples to continue and not to. He was telling them to just ignore. So eventually, what happened? That person who was drunk, he eventually calmed down and slowly he left. So you see here the devotee's quality. He is not disturbed by others, nor he being the reason of any kind of disturbance. And then we see what happened when Srila Prabhupada, he suffered a heart attack, right? And after this heart attack, even the doctors and disciples, they were very concerned. They were very panicked. But if you see, Srila Prabhupada he was very calm. He was very calm. He was just doing his regular chanting, and he was totally depending on the Krishna's will. And even that moment also, he was saying, if Krishna wants me to stay, I will stay. If he want me to go, I will go. In either case, I am happy. So you see the devotee quality here. He is undisturbed by any kind of danger or personal distress because he is totally depending on the Lord. And we often see lot of criticism and lot of envy, right? Day to day, every day you see, whether in office, in your personal circles, you always face so many criticism. So many people are envy of one another. So during this Hare Krishna movement also, when it was started spreading, so Srila Prabhupada was spreading it in Western countries. So, and then what happened naturally, when there is a lot of news, something is happening, the media, they initially get attracted. And some started, so in this media also, some were very favorable, some were very critical. So during that time, one journalist, he was actually mocking, he presented a very mocking article. He wrote a article where he called Srila Prabhupada that one Swami from India who is brainwashing all youth. And Srila Prabhupada immediately, his response was, he was actually laughing. He was not disturbed. He was laughing and he replied and he said, at least they are hearing the name of Krishna. So see the mood, even such cases where he was having no support, he's actually taking it in a positive sense. And he's saying that at least whatever way they are taking it, at least they are hearing the name of Krishna. At least something is started happening. And he was very much happy. So that is the mood of a devotee. Then when we go to this second shloka, Aneksha Suchi Daksha Udasina Gata Vyatha Sarva Aramba Pratityagi Yamat Bhakta Same Priya. So Srila Prabhupada translate that my devotee who is not dependent on the ordinary course of activity, who is pure, expert without care, free from all pain, and not striving for some result, is very dear to. So again, Srila Prabhupada, so Lord is explaining here, right? The devotee, he is not striving for some result. We often see people actually for any self-gain or for some result, he take interest on something. But a pure devotee, he is not striving for any kind of result. So why it is? So if you see in chapter number 18, slok number 13 and 14, where Lord is saying, Adhishtanam tatha karta, karanam cha prithak vidhi. So the Lord is saying, see, basically what happens, a devotee knows very well that there are 5 factors for any kind of success. When we have something in mind, we want to achieve something, there are 5 reasons or 5 reasons which actually, when they play together, then only a result or output will come, whether you become success. So we often see that a lot of students in school, colleges, they commit suicide when they try to put effort on something. They did not succeed in that. They commit suicide, right? But Lord is clearly saying, for any success, there are 5 factors. And what are these 5 factors? So in this shloka, chapter number 18, if you see 13, 14, it talks about these 5 factors: the place of action, the performer, second is the performer, the various senses is the third, the many different kind of endeavors, and ultimately super soul. These are the 5 factors, basically are 5 factors of action, basically. So here, if you see, Lord is saying ultimately it is super soul. Who is super soul? It is Lord Krishna, who actually is the main giving the result of any activity. So when a devotee knows that it's not that I am only the reason for any failure or success. He becomes very equipoised, right? So there are different factors when we know. So if you see, so I was seeing one of the interview where the reporter, he invited a lot of successful people who are doing very good in their field. They are top in their respective fields. And when they were asked about their success, their actual reason for their success, one thing was very common. Everybody, they said, ki in my success, whatever I have achieved, 60 to 70% was luck. So you see that they also believe that so they say that there are many other people who are better than me in that field. They are much, much better in terms of the talent, or they are they are more hardworking. But still, I am more successful because of luck. And this answer was very much common to most of the successful people. But people who achieve something, but they don't even appreciate that there is another factor for their success. They become they go into the stage of Hiranyakashipu, who used to feel that I am the God. And later we see what happened to him. So all these successful people, they appreciated, they believed that my hard work or my talent is only 30 to 40%. Remaining 60 to 70% is luck. And what is this luck? Luck is basically what we call karma. If we go back in Shastras, what we call nowadays people call it as luck is actually we map it to karma. So what I have done in my past, I am getting the result of that in present. So a devotee, he is very much aware of this. So a pure devotee, he is never happy or distressed over material gains or losses. That is why he never take these extreme steps like doing a suicide or committing a murder in order to achieve his goal, because he thinks that if I fail, then I will become a failure. In society, people will look me down. So if he loses anything which is very dear to him, he don't lament. If he does not get what he desire, he is not distressed. So he is transcendental in the face of all kind of auspicious, whether it is auspicious or inauspicious, any sinful activities. So he accept all kind of risk for the satisfaction of Supreme Lord. And Lord is saying, such a devotee is very dear to me. And we see that real stories of Srila Prabhupada, where actually we see that he is demonstrating no joy or no sorrow over gain or loss. At the age of 69, Srila Prabhupada, he left India, that too in a cargo ship, which is called as Jaladuta, where he was having no money. Right? At that time, he was nobody, no disciple who is helping him. He was having no contacts in America. And during that time, that voyage took 35 days. how painful in 35 days he has to travel in sea. We cannot imagine one day also traveling in sea. And nearly 2 fatal heart attacks. But he was neither lamenting his decision nor he was in fear. And in his diary, he wrote that I have no devotion, nor do I have any knowledge, but I have only strong faith in the holy name of Krishna. I simply pray for his causeless mercy. So even after losing health, he lost his country, all kind of security. He showed no distress, only gratitude and surrender. So that actually relate. He is not distressed by not getting what he desires. He accepts all kind of risk for the satisfaction of Lord. So no distress over not having family or disciples. So when he left his family. He left all the disciples behind in India. Why? Because his guru told him, go and preach in West. When one of his disciple in America, he asked whether you missed your family. And Prabhupada replied, my family is also there, Krishna's. So also I am Krishna. So let Krishna take care. So at one point of time, even his son tried to sue ISKCON property. And Srila Prabhupada was undisturbed and said, let Krishna protect us. So you see, he is not anxious. May it be a son or disciple, he is not distressed. He is not lamenting over the losses. We have seen that Mumbai land struggle, how he reclaimed the property in Mumbai, where despite of so much court cases, intense pressure was there. Srila Prabhupada, he did not lament. He calmly said, I think I lost connection for some time. Hare Krishna?
Yes, Prabhuji, we got you back.
Okay. So I was saying about the land struggle that Prabhupada was having in Mumbai during those days. So Srila Prabhupada, he was not, so what it was like, even many people, they will cheat us, right? But our mode should be that Krishna has something better for us. And we see that eventually ISKCON won that land case, and now there is a very beautiful Jew temple there. So for a devotee, it is very clean and clear, right? So accepting all kind of risk. So when arrived in New York, Srila Prabhupada, he was not having any friend. There is no income to him. He was living alonely, and not only that, he was living in a very dangerous neighborhood. He was actually staying with a very unstable, mentally unstable artist. And one night, what happened here, that person become very violent. And instead of, opposing him or doing something, Srila Prabhu, he quietly packed his belongings, and he just left that place. He spent one complete night in a bench, but he continued preaching. So we see that a devotee he's prepared to accept all kind of risk for the satisfaction of Lord. So this devotional service is undeterred by any kind of circumstances. And we see that in his Prabhupada's final days in Vrindavan. So Prabhupada was so ill, and we see that he is continuously translating Sri Bhagavatam. He was barely able to sit, but he was whispering. He was dictating to his disciples daily. And when asked why don't he take some rest, he said, this is my service, and till my last prayer, I will serve. So you see, nothing is an impedance in the discharge of devotional service. So that actually, we say that, right? Walk the talk, lead by examples. So he is not rejoiced or grieved over material outcome. So generally what happens? You see, a person who is not a devotee, he is so much overjoyed, or he will be in very grief when something happens. But a devotee, he knows that these are material outcomes. So he is completely balanced. He never act based on the anxiety or fear. He tried to balance that. And all these things, he is doing it for Krishna's satisfaction. He knows that there are these five factors that we discussed just now. For any success, there are these five factors. And ultimate factors, it is when the Lord approves, then only the outcome of that result will come. I may put so much effort, but there are people who are putting effort which is tenfold, hundredfold than me. But ultimately, only few people are successful in whatever endeavor they are doing. So this devotee remain undisturbed, even in great calamity. Because we know that, right? There are different kind of distress. And he is always engaged in devotional service till his last breath. So that we saw Srila Prabhupada, how he did that. Till his last breath, he was translating. He was translating Bhagavatam. What was his gain actually? For others, for his disciples, for other devotees, for the society. For his last breath also, he was translating Bhagavatam. So, like that, these two shlokas are teaching me that we have to be very equipoised. We have to be very balanced. So things, calamities will come, and we hardly have any control on that. So whatever effort you can do, you do, but not for sense gratification or sense enjoyment, but for the pleasure of Krishna. Let him take care of your circumstances, your situations. So with that, we'll just end this. So I hope these two shlokas are very much clear about this. So such devotees are very dear to Krishna. He himself is declaring that. Such devotees are dear to me, very dear to me. He is not striving for any kind of results. And all this will come. So one may say ki how we can actually be without any kind of expecting any kind of result, or we are human being, naturally all these kind of things will come, envy, greed, fear will come. But only Lord is saying only with bhakti we can actually initially we can minimize, and then slowly we can, when we become a pure devotee, these things will not bother us. Otherwise, what will happen is we will keep on solving one problem, another will come. In material life, there is no end to this kind of problems. You, with your effort, you may feel that you are very skillful. You try to address one problem, you try to please one person, your boss, your other relatives, your friends, but another expectation will come and you try to please. So we have to remember that at the end, we have to please Lord, right? And yesterday, in the some of the devotees who have attended, Bhakti Purushottam Maharaj was also mentioning this. Everybody want to become boss. Wherever he is, in his circle, he's in office, in his home, everybody want to become boss. But one may think, so nobody would like to actually become a das. Das is nothing but a servant. Nobody. So people have a doubt ki, okay, now why I should become a das of Krishna? Instead, why not I will become a servant of my manager or some boss or my husband or my wife, because they are only providing us. They are only giving us food or cloth or money. So if I become devotee, then it will shift to Krishna. I will become das of him. But then he was giving a very good example. If you see in families, we see that Mataji, who is not earning also, he is actually a boss of house. How come it is? Generally, what happens? A provider who give you money, he is the boss. Who is giving you food, he is the boss. Who is giving you the clothes, he is the boss. But you see in home, if Mataji is not working, he is not providing money or he's not giving clothes or food, still she is boss. Why? Because it is only because of the prema bhakti, because of the love that she provide. Similarly, when a person becomes a devotee, so he not becomes a servant of Krishna. Actually, Krishna is saying, I am servant of my devotee. So actually, Krishna, Lord, becomes servant of devotee. And what a Jivatma want? He want to become a boss only. So that is the difference. So Hare Krishna, I will end here. It is already 7:30 now. So any questions or anybody want to add anything?
Very well explained, Prabhuji. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam. Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Thank you very much. Thank you for joining.
Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you very much.
So we'll chant
Krishna,
one
Prabhuji.
time.
Yes.
We'll chant one time for everybody's spiritual progress.
Yes,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna. Krishna, Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Rama Rama,
Hare
Hare Hare.
Tomorrow is next month we have Janmashtami coming. I think in 16th of August. So our next theme of classes also we'll covering some pastimes of Krishna Leelas. So please don't miss. Tell your friends and families to join. So next month onwards, we'll also see some of the very good pastimes from Krishna's Bal Leela. So thank you very much for joining.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।
Jai.
Thank you,
Vibhu.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
धन्यवाद।
Dhanavad Pranam.
हरे कृष्ण।